Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about a 2022 romance miniseries called A Taste of First Love. The first scene starts with a lady named Sunwi AI enjoying a drink with her employer and co-workers. She works as a sales executive for a cosmetic company. We, the ICE co-workers, think when we see Bae, she wonders how he can be the chairman at such a young age. Bae introduces himself and shakes her hand as Wei walks out to the bathroom. Bae follows her and pulls her onto the couch asking where she has been for such a long time. He responds that he had no idea she would be present when she questions why he made her drink the peach beer despite knowing she is allergic to peaches. After this, he applies anti-allergic cream to her neck to prevent itching. While doing this, he tries to strike up a conversation, but I prefer to discuss business matters. Only obliging her, he invites her to join his company, which offers more appealing facilities than the one she is currently with. Wei claims that it is then revealed that the two once had a romantic relationship. Wei says that things have changed and that they should stay completely apart. As she prepares to leave, Bae stops her, tearing her dress. He then apologizes and ties his coat around her waist before leaving. Bae asks if he's still the wrong person for her, but Wei walks away without saying anything. The scene then cuts to 5 years earlier, when Wei is picking up Bae. Wei returns home, where her boyfriend Ren Ming Yuan embraces her from behind and asks if she wants to go out tomorrow because he has received a bonus from work. Wei says she wants to go to the opera house, but Ren asserts that the tickets are too expensive. He persuades her to go to a restaurant instead. In the next scene, as Wei is sitting with her friends, Q discusses the weather forecast and how the rain will persist until tomorrow morning. Q then decides Bae offers to pay for the food, but only if everyone participates in the game, forcing Lee Ito to stay. Soon the game begins and coincidentally Bae and I become a pair for the night after Q announces the game's rule that the two people who receive the King and Queen of Hearts are a pair and must spend the night in the same room. Shortly after, Bae arrives, shows them his card and asks if he can join them. As a result, Wei decides to leave and Bae offers to pay. Soon later, a man calls Q and instructs her to provide an explanation and go. Q instantly complies with his requests. I hug Ren and tell him that I'm tired, but Ren remembers that he hasn't returned his friend's bike, so he goes to return it, making Wei sad outside. As soon as she leaves, Bae approaches Wei and offers to drive her home. When he asks why Ren wasn't with her, she acts as though Ren was preoccupied. The next morning, Ren sees the performance tickets and confronts Wei for attending there despite their restricted budget. She adds that Q's friend and given them the tickets. Hearing this, Ren advises her not to owe anyone anything. Later, Ren considers buying a new apartment and goes to a real estate office. When the manager asks him if he plans to buy the apartment, Ren asks for some time to arrange the funds. During this time, he notices two girls leaving with gifts. He asks if he will receive a gift as well, but the manager says that gifts are only given to customers who have bought apartments. A few moments later, Bae after work, Ren comes home and offers Delta a shower, but she discovers that it's reserved for guys. Only then a short while later, Ren receives a call from Bae inviting him to meet Mr. Liang, the CEO of a well-known software company. Hearing this excites him and he shares it with Wei, saying that he has reserved tickets at the spa club. However, at the club, I am unhappy with the vegetarian food and she tells him that he should have received search before booking the ticket, but Ren simply tells her not to argue while eating. When asked whether he is certain, Ren responds that his job comes first and that if he is affluent, he can date anybody he wants. In response, we step inside and rest in the pool. To her surprise, she spots Bae and chooses to leave, but as she does so, she slips and falls on him. She immediately gets to her feet, and Bae asks about her boyfriend, to which she replies that he's coming. To support his notion, Bae then takes her to Ren so she can overhear their business chat. Bae subsequently continues to claim that Ren doesn't have time for her and doesn't prioritize her, but we ignore him and walk away. As time passes, we and Ren begin arguing about little issues in them. After hearing all of this, we gets a call from her father requesting further funds. One night, Ren is drinking with his friends at a bar when one of them asks him if he intends to marry his girlfriend. Surprisingly, Ren responds that he only dated her because she was a businessman's daughter, but that she has since become a burden. When I overhear this, the woman becomes enraged and confronts him, grabbing his drink and pouring it on him before leaving. When she gets home, she gathers Ren's possessions and instructs him to break up with her. Bae's assistant Kim informs him that Mr. Liang has invited him to meet several gorgeous women since they are both unmarried. When asked about his girlfriend, Bae declines, claiming to be busy. He then replies that they'll be getting married soon and counsels Bae to never give up on his true love. The following day, we were having a drink with Mr. Kyan, but when she left to use the restroom, he mixed drugs into her drink to make her unconscious. After she drank it, Mr. Kyan carried her to a hotel room and tried to touch her. When Bae arrived, He punched Mr. when Bei comes and begs his sister to go. Wei learns the truth about how Bei saved her from being attacked by Mr. Kyan later at home. The following morning, I go to Bei's office to thank him for saving her. In response, he asked her to help him choose an outfit for his upcoming conference. When I get to Bei's house, we find that his closet is a complete mess. As a result, she organizes everything and chooses an outfit for him. Hearing this, she wonders why he's still interested in her despite the fact that she has mistreated him. She also claims that she's broken up with him. Only then, sadly, even at this time, she rejects Bei's embraces from behind and his vows that he would genuinely love her. Following Bei's manner, we are in Bei's office together, and he offers to deal with their firm while giving all the credit to EI. Later that night, Wei is out for her nightly stroll when Bei meets her. He advises her to take a break and offers her a drink. She says it's a secret. After a time, Wei gets intoxicated in front of Bei. As Bei is driving her home and getting ready to depart, she unexpectedly stops him and tells him how much she misses him. She also warns him not to go. When the manager tells her that she has been promoted, she is overjoyed and treats her co-workers to a treat in the next scene. After work, Wei and her friends go to a bar where Inshu orders a peach-flavored cake. Soon after, Wei gets drunk and goes on stage to perform, but she soon develops an allergy that causes her to scratch and undress. As people start to take pictures of her, Bei arrives at the bar and takes Wei's eye away on the way home. Learning that Inshu is behind all of this, he instructs his assistant to keep an eye on her upon returning. The next morning, Bei discloses that Inshu was the mastermind behind everything. Inshu also seems to be sharing business secrets with the rival company, so I confront her and have their manager report her to the police. The next day, I call Bei to thank him once more for saving her, and in return, he invites her to accompany him to his home. When she gets there, she finds out that he has painted several works of art, as well as some of her own, which she finds embarrassing. She tries to destroy them, but they stop her and say that they can save them. The next day at work, Bei appears concerned about Wei, but his assistant can reassure him by saying that if she's jealous, he still has a chance. After that, he calls One King and agrees to deal with her company on the condition that she help him. On the other hand, One King refuses to deal with him. She also tells Riai to stop pestering Bei because their statuses don't match as she walks out and sees him with another woman named Liang Wang. After forcing her to sit in his vehicle and driving quickly to scare her, Bei approaches us and confesses to knowing about her fictitious lover. He also adds that there is nothing between him and One King. After this, he wants to know the truth, but we both keep mute. She ultimately admits the truth that her father was imprisoned because of his company and she didn't want it to have an impact when Bei asks why she abandoned him in the hopes that he would stop the automobile. When he hears this, he stops and asks her why she's rejecting him right now. I explain that their distance has widened and that she doesn't deserve him. They start dating, and their first date is a haunted house challenge. After the date, Bei drives her home, but before they leave, they kiss in the car. Their relationship continues to blossom, and one day when I inquire about his hobby, they respond that he enjoys geology and reading about stars and planets. She expresses thanks to him for never losing up on her after knowing this, and Wei decorates her room with stars and lights to represent outer space. They are ready to kiss when a phone call interrupts their moment. One day, Wei is using her phone when Lingfei approaches her and smacks her. She rants at Wei, accusing her of courting her brother for financial benefit. Wei runs to Bei's office as soon as she hears this and finds her father asking for more money. She confronts the old man and rips up the check. After Bei sends her father away to talk to her alone, Wei yells and demands to know why he didn't tell her and Bei's assistant. Kim confesses that her father had debt and that loan sharks were after him. Bei is now able to support his living costs after paying off all of his obligations. Kim also says that she did everything so that the elderly guy wouldn't put pressure on us. She then apologizes to him for everything and promises to pay him back before departing. After that, Bei impersonates a teddy bear to cheer her up and even sends her presents in front of her co-workers. But Wei warns him not to do so since they could threaten him if they find out he is her lover. One day we see AI walking down the street when some people approach her and throw trash at her. She walks over to Bei's office after hearing him talking to Lingfei, but just then she overhears him saying that he's just being nice to AI and that once she gets into him he'll dump her and exact his vengeance. They troll her because of Wei is heartbroken by this and walks back home the same night to find out what happened. He tells her to stop acting and be happy because she overheard their conversation with Lingfei. He tries to explain that he lied to his sister because she kept plotting against them, but Wei expresses that she doesn't want to be in a relationship with plans and plots and asks him to give her a few months to think things over.